I used Create to completely destroy the nether in my hardcore world, and it got me a crazy amount of netherite. The only problem is I don't have enough XP to enchant my new gear. So I'm gonna build a massive factory with an absolutely insane XP farm inside to get me all the way to level 1000, and I'm gonna do it all using silverfish. But before I worry about any kind of enchanting, I do still have a few more upgrades I can make to my gear. And I know that probably sounds pretty weird considering I'm already wearing full netherite, but it's only vanilla netherite, and Create does offer a few additional upgrades on top of that to create netherite armor, which gives some pretty cool additional effects. I'm also not totally sure why there's an upgrade for every single piece of gear except for the pants, but who knows, maybe it'll come in a future update. And now if I just slap all this on, my gear is as good as it's gonna get. Obviously, you know, minus the enchanting, of course, but that's gonna come in a little bit. Now, originally I was planning on getting right into the enchanting, but while I was doing my crafting, I noticed a slight issue with my mechanical mixers, and it's why I had to manually craft my andesite alloy, which was extremely painful for me. But if I head outside, the main culprit behind this problem is sitting right back here. The water wheels have finally betrayed me. Unfortunately, in one of the recent Create updates, the regular water wheels were nerfed a little bit, so my solution here is to double down and go from a regular water wheel to an even bigger water wheel. Oh my gosh, I gotta fix this soon because this is the most painful thing ever. Oh my god, oh it hurts. So now I just need to figure out where I want to actually put these massive water wheels. I'm not even going to worry about the fact that these things spin at an extremely slow speed and I'm going to have to gear it up a ton to make the mechanical mixers work. I just need to figure out where I'm even putting them first. It seems like this corner's pretty much the only place that these can go where they won't look totally out of place, so I guess I'll see what I can do to make them look nice. Oh my gosh, when this thing drops on the ground, it's massive. What? Yeah, that's definitely not ideal. I feel like it just looked so much better before. It doesn't look right, but I'll fix it later. I'll come up with something. For now, it's fine. I need to power this stuff again. And would you look at this guy? Stop judging me, okay? It's a work in progress. It's not done yet. Well, I think that's it for the water wheel build. I tried to make it look as nice as possible, but really the most important part is the fact that I can come back in here and tear this down. It's a regular wall again. Now, right now, these water wheels are spinning at 4 RPM, and I need them to go over 30 for the mechanical mixers to work, which means I would be gearing this up at least 3 times for those to even begin working. And if I wanted it to go at a respectable speed, it would be even more than that. So I think the only logical solution is the rotation speed controller, which I didn't use before because gearing something up once or twice isn't that bad, but 3 times it just starts to become absurd. So I'm gonna need to make a precision mechanism kind of in the most disgusting way possible. Well, that's an interesting turn of events. Apparently, you can get this going at its maximum speed literally just by putting the water flowing a single block at the bottom of it. It doesn't look nice, and I would never do this otherwise, but that's pretty crazy. What do you guys think of my precision mechanism factory? I am going to manually have to feed this sheet through every time, but this should work just extremely slowly. There's actually a chance that it fails, so I'm really banking on it not failing. Okay, round 1 was a success. Round 2, let's go. Round 2 was successful. Okay, on to round 3. Oh my gosh, it's so close. It is the last cycle it has to go through. It's 80% complete. I'm really hoping it makes it through because this is taking an extremely long time. I should have just geared this up. Oh, thank God, it worked. Okay, I have the precision mechanism. Now I can tear this entire thing down. So now I just have to tear down all this old rotational stuff where I was gearing up the original water wheels, replace it with this rotation speed controller, and it should be good to go. Well, I think everything should be connected now. That was super easy. It's way cleaner than it was before. I just need to check if it's spinning in the correct direction. Otherwise, I can just flip this to be the negative version of it, because the encased fan is the only thing up in the kitchen that needs a specific direction. And then, of course, I need to repair, you know, all the stuff that I tore down from my base to set that up. Oh, and this is exactly why I checked, because right now it's sucking the air up and it wouldn't wash anything on this. So I need to reverse the rotation and then I can patch everything up. And of course I need to up it all the way to 30 or above because these are still not working. Okay, it seems like everything's working again. I was able to increase the speed all the way up to 46 RPM, I believe. So stuff in here should be a lot faster than it was before. And I just have to do this because after manually crafting it so many times, I have to automatically make some. I can't. Oh, it's so much better. It's so much better. It's so much more resource efficient, guys. You can't even believe it. Okay, and now that this is done, it's time to finally get into what I was meaning to do today, which really means it's time to do a lot of gathering of materials and a lot of crafting, because I'm going to need a ton of stuff today to make the actual factory building, which is going to look super cool, and then to make all the cool contraptions inside the building that make it actually do stuff. Where do you even normally find granite? Oh my gosh, and the boots make me sink. They make me sink towards the bad guys. Okay, I can breathe underwater, but I do not need to sink towards them. I feel like that should be enough granite. I'm really hoping, at least, because my pick is about to break and I've really torn this place up. There's still more granite to go, but I feel like that should be enough to at least build the beginning of the factory. I wasn't even paying attention. Okay. It wasn't enchanted yet. It's fine. I've got plenty of netherite. It's fine. I'm definitely not coping. Well, I think that should be it for the crafting. Nah, I'm totally kidding, guys. So the stuff that I've got in this chest right here, and this chest right here, and then this new toolbox that I made right here is generally the things that I should need to make both the factory build itself and then all the different contraptions in it. The only thing is, these probably look like really random numbers because I don't know exactly what I need because it's such a big build. I planned out little bits and pieces of it, but I haven't actually put it all together yet. On top of that, I've run into a little bit of an issue over here. So my iron supply is running a little bit low. I was always low on iron compared to everything else. Like I have an absurd amount of diamonds and zinc. I could use a little bit more copper, but the iron was always really low, but now it's like dangerously low. This is getting to the point where it's like, this is what a regular vanilla Minecraft player has within the first couple days or something. So this is going to have to be addressed. It's just another big project I have to deal with. So I got to finish this one first. But yeah, this crafting severely cut into my iron supply. But now that all that stuff's taken care of, it's time to deal with the next problem, because there's always a next problem when you go to do a huge build. When I first made this house, I had to clear cut a pretty big area that was covered in trees, since this entire little island area is covered in trees. So I'm probably gonna have to do that again, because I do want to make the factory somewhere over here, but as you can see, it's still pretty dense foliage over here, and I'm gonna have to level the ground a little bit. Oh yeah, and I'm eating bread now because I killed off all the animals that live around here instead of breeding them. So now I'm living on bread. I'm on a low meat diet. Call me any company in corporate America, because I just cut down an entire forest to make a factory. It's cool though. It's cool though. I didn't destroy any animals' homes or anything because I had already killed all the animals in the entire area to eat, so it's fine. Seriously though, I think this area should be big enough at least to start on building the factory. It's a good start, so I think I just have to start building and see where everything lands, because like I said, I just need to start piecing it together like a puzzle, and then I'll figure it out. Surely there's no way anything goes wrong with that. Well, I've been working on this for about an hour now, and this is what I've got. So I'm gonna have to rethink my plan for setting this all up. So you can see all the different sections of the walls here. They're all pretty much gonna be the same, except I believe over here, I'm actually gonna design this one to be a lot shorter than that and to allow a train to go through here. So I'm gonna want it to be kind of a pull-through station where I'll put some tracks down, train will pull in here, and then it can be one of those cool ones that will eventually load up with experience, and it'll be in the tanks and it'll look super cool. Everything else is pretty much going to be just like this wall here. And because it took so long for me to make it, it's so high up that I have to go and I'm coming up and down and all of that. I'm going to expedite it using create. So I try to avoid just using a schematic cannon where I'll copy something that I plan out in creative and then build it using the schematic cannon in the world. But what I'm going to do here is take the section of the wall that I've already built and I'm going to copy it using the schematic in Quill, and then I'm going to paste it in using all the blocks that I collected. So I think if I get this section down here and then I got to go all the way around. I didn't realize you could select from so far away with this thing. That is awesome. So I'll just select that up there and then I gotta scroll it to get everything in scope that I want. Yeah, looks like that's got everything. So now I need to save it. And I actually want to make use of this right now. So I'm going to save and upload immediately. And now this has been converted to an actual schematic of it. So if I were to try to place it down, let's say right here, that is what it would paste in as. So then I could move it forward like that and use the schematic cannon to place it. But I probably am going to do the one over here. So I'll just scroll it all the way over, because like I said, that one down there is going to be a little bit different for a train pull through. So that is what it should be like. And now I just got to use the schematic cannon to shoot this whole thing up there. Okay, I think it's ready. I loaded it up with gunpowder. I have a ton of gunpowder from when I did all the different ore processing, because this is a secondary output of one of the ores. So I've got stacks and stacks of this, which you need to run this. And that's really all you need. So I adjusted some of the printer settings so it doesn't replace any solid blocks, because there is going to be a little bit of overlap. And then I think I just throw everything in a chest next to it. I've actually never really used this before, but I'm hoping that if I do this, it's going to go. Oh, it's done. Wow, that took maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it replicates it perfectly. So it's not super fast, and I don't think there's any way to speed up the schematic cannon itself, but then I just get to turn the schematic into the same thing again. It barely used any gunpowder, and then I just set the next wall to go. So this is going to make building this thing way easier. The only problem is I don't want it to be perfectly identical for every section, so I am going to have to go in, especially with the window shapes and where there are windows, and I'm gonna have to manually change those. But on the bright side, I can just do that while it's building like this section over here, or one of the 10 other sections that I have to shoot out of a cannon because I'm too lazy to build. Well, I think the factory is finally done, or at least the outside of it is. It definitely ended up being way bigger than I had initially planned, but that's good because I'm actually going to need pretty much all the space inside it to make the experience factory. And the inside's pretty much done as well. The only thing is, it's really just all in my inventory, so it's still kind of got some assembly required. But before I start putting all that stuff together, I did run into one little issue while I was crafting. Yeah, so I am basically out of iron, which is obviously a huge issue considering how much iron you use when you do pretty much anything with the create mod. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to fix it right now because I've got an experience factory to make, but pretty much the next thing that needs to be on my to-do list is a massive iron generator. But for now, I'm not going to worry about that, or I'm going to try not to worry about it, because I need to make a cobblestone generator in this corner right over here. So I'm going to need a bunch of item vaults that I can store all the cobblestone I'm going to generate inside. And I think this should be literally the biggest singular item vault you can even make. And then I need a whole bunch of andesite funnels to pick all the cobblestone up. And then, as weird as it may seem, I need a whole bunch of spruce doors over all of these andesite funnels because this is actually what's going to break the cobblestone. I'm not going to have any drills or anything like that. I'm going to break it using spruce trapdoors. This entire setup is built on the idea of like clever use of game mechanics, let's call it. It's just a broken way to generate cobblestone really quickly, but I don't really want to call it that and get it nerfed someday. So it's clever use of game mechanics. Then on top of these trapdoors, I'm going to need a whole bunch of mechanical pumps that are going to be making our cobblestone. And the final layer is just a whole bunch of fluid tanks where I'm going to store the lava for the mechanical pumps. So really it's just a whole bunch of layers of the same thing. It's like you're making a 7-layer dip or something. Wait, is this thing actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Okay, so yeah, it is a 7-layer dip cobblestone generator. I'm patenting that name, copywriting it. Now I just need to make the mechanism that's going to move this thing back and forth. And that's pretty much the entire setup. The only thing is, it's a little bit weird, so it's kind of hard to explain how it works when it isn't running. And there are a few things that I need to do before it runs, like getting it rotational power, putting some lava in the tanks, and putting a whole bunch of water up there, which I now realize is going to spill out everywhere, so kind of probably also got to close that off a bit too. Why does this not want to go in the tank? You can put this in there, right? Or is that only in creative that you can just click this in there? Oh, don't tell me that's just when you're planning stuff out in creative. It's so stupid. This is how I have to load my lava in here. I don't know why I can't just click it in with the bucket or if I'm doing something wrong, but this is really annoying. I think everything's done now, so the only thing I have to do is flip the direction of rotation, which should make this go to the side, and I think water's gonna spill out everywhere for a quick second, but then everything should start working, or at least I really, really hope it does. Oh, there we go. Slow and steady at the start. Okay, well, something clearly wasn't glued right over here. Oh, it's just none of this is glued. Why is none of this glued? Here we go. And then back. Yes, it's working and the water didn't even spill out. So now this is already generating a lot of cobblestone, but I should be able to crank this thing up because it shouldn't really use that much more rotational power. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. It could go even faster than this, but I can't imagine I'm going to be able to process even this much cobblestone. So a quick rundown of how this works, and it's definitely really noisy, but basically the pumps are going so slow that they're pumping out basically like 1 millibucket of lava every tick. That millibucket doesn't consume the lava from in the fluid tanks at the top, but it's enough to generate cobblestone, which is already a kind of buggy game mechanic. Then every time we move a contraption, which is this middle part, and it gets placed down, it overrides any block that's already there, or the cobblestone, and it breaks it. And so that's what's destroying it. Then it's getting picked up by all the different andesite funnels, put into that barrel on the contraption, and then dumped out from this funnel right here and inside the item vault. This is a super common design though, so I really don't want to get too in depth since most of you probably already know about this, but now it's time for us to start using this cobblestone to make some smooth stone right over here. I gotta turn this off for now though, because that is so unbelievably loud. So this monstrosity right here is the tileable part of my wickedly overkill but super cool looking bulk smelter. Obviously it's missing some critical parts like the fans and the lava that'll do the actual bulk smelting, but the rest of it, which is the part that looks really cool, is what's going on here. Now I'll get into a little bit more detail later when we can actually watch it run, but the general idea is there's a whole lot of redstone controlling when cobblestone is going to come down this chute right here, land on the depot, then it's going to get bulk smelted by some fans blowing lava across it. Then once it's bulk smelted, there's a fan up there that's going to kick on for just long enough to suck the stone all the way up this side and then kick it off onto a belt. And then the minute that stone gets up there, some redstone timing over there is going to allow that funnel then to drop more cobblestone back down. And there's going to be a whole bunch of these in a row. So there's just going to be cobblestone coming down and stone going up, and it's going to look really cool. And I could have done this way faster and way cheaper and way easier, but obviously that's not the whole purpose of this factory. It's to look really cool while also netting me a ton of XP. So I think for the bulk smelter, I'm going to duplicate this another 6 times for a total of 7, and that should be sufficient. Well, I think that's pretty much everything that needs to be done in terms of building, so most of the technical stuff is done. The only problem is the very technical part, which is setting up all the different frequencies for all the different redstone links. I still have to do, and I don't have a really good way of doing that since there's 7 of them, and then there's 4 on each of these with 2 different frequencies. So my plan is to use either stone or cobblestone, and then some granite, and I am just going to pick 7 random types of chiseled granite, and then those are going to be the second frequencies for all of these. So it's probably a really stupid plan, but it's the best I got at the moment, so we'll see how it goes. Yep, that should be 7 types of different pieces of granite, and then I've got the stone and the cobblestone, so now it's time to set some frequencies. Now I think the last bit is just getting this rotational power to all these different parts and getting the correct speed, since they do end up being pretty particular for what I need, and then lava in each of these, and finally getting the cobblestone out of here and onto something back there for a mechanical arm to use. So yeah, I guess there's still technically a fair bit left to do. Okay, well, after a lot of rotational power setup, and I mean a lot, if I connect this, everything in here should start going properly, assuming I didn't screw something up. Now, that's a big if, but the real test will be if regular stone starts shooting off of this belt just into the air over here. If that happens, then I did everything right. And there's the water that I expected to be spilling out. Okay, this is promising. Stone, cobblestone is coming down here. There it goes. Okay, it finishes and immediately gets sucked up. It's so good. It's so much better than I could have even hoped for. And then over here, it's just spitting out a ton of stone, which really is just going to end up getting loaded onto this exact same thing, except instead of lava down here, it's going to be 1 shorter on each side, since it's not going to need the iron bars here, and it's going to be a soul campfire to bulk haunt it. But literally everything else is going to be 100% identical, and I don't need to deal with this whole mess, and the rotational power will be a lot easier, but that's going to go over here. So I'm probably just going to do that whole thing in one go, and then we'll be back when it's time to do the block breaking. Oh my god, I still can't get over how cool this looks. I'm so glad it actually worked. Oh my gosh, okay, I think this one is now also done. I am so sick of setting this exact thing up over and over and over again, and then connecting the rotational power is even worse. But assuming I did everything correctly, if I just put this back down, then all of this should start working, and I'm very nervous because I keep starting it and stopping it to test out different directions and stuff, so I feel like I'm gonna break something, but here we go. Okay, it looks good. Now, I'm not gonna be able to tell when these eventually change other than when they get sucked up, because stone and infested stone doesn't look different. Now, I don't know why that happened. So this should all be infested stone that's being chucked off over here. And assuming that that was just a little blip in the system, this one should have no issues. And this one over here should also be running correctly. It looks like it is. Very nice. See, now it looks like one of these is having an issue where it's dropping extra. Okay, it's this one is dropping extra. So I need to figure out why that is. Oh, well, that's the issue right there. I guess the mechanical arms default to regular round robin, but you can change them to forced round robin, which should fix that issue. Now it'll have to go from one to the next, and it won't be able to double up on any of these, so these should both be working perfectly fine now. I will admit they kind of look a little bit ugly, though the build itself doesn't look ugly, it looks really cool, but the area around them kind of looks a little bit rough right now. Also, if I'm being honest, it really bothers me that there's no iron bars over here, but there are iron bars on this one over here. I know this one doesn't need it because it's soul campfires, but it like really bothers me. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. That was almost certainly not a good use of my time, but now they look a lot nicer, so I just need to test that everything works properly, and I should be able to check every single one just by putting 7 stacks of cobblestone in there. So nothing over here really changed other than the round robin setting on the mechanical arm, but once this works, then the real test will be over here. Okay, it looks like everything worked fine over here, and now it should all be getting dropped over here. And the only one I'm really concerned about is this last one right here, since since that's the new one. Seems like that one's working. And now every single thing that gets spit out over here, since I don't have what's coming next in the setup, but everything spit out over here should be infested stone. I'm just going to wait until that last one finishes and gets chucked off. Okay, assuming this is all infested stone. 3 stacks, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. So now everything is working properly, and I just spent like 30 minutes to move this over exactly 1 to make literally no functional difference. And speaking of making no functional difference, I think now that everything's in the correct place, it's time to make this whole area look a little bit nicer. I feel like this is a good start, but it's really gray. I don't want to use granite though, because there's definitely plenty of granite for the first layer. I don't think it really fits in with the actual build itself, but it looks a lot nicer, so I'm just going to roll with it. I'll try and tie it in. Maybe I'll do some stuff back here and try to tie it in like that, and then, you know, more blocks of experience because they just look really cool. That doesn't look too bad. It's definitely coming along. There's still a lot of missing blocks up at the top there, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done on kind of this portion of the room. The only problem I'm running into, and it seems to be a recurring problem, is I am fresh out of andesite. I think all I have left are andesite slabs. I have no idea why I made so many of these because I'm not going to be using them for anything other than this part right here. So it's a little bit of a waste, but I'm definitely going to need a lot more andesite for finishing up there, and then all the stuff that goes over here. And then this whole area that I need to rework to make it look nicer. Now I need an andesite farm, but then I also need an iron farm, and I don't know which one's more important because they're both really important. And there's just not enough time in the day, guys. There's so many things that need to be automated, and yet I'm choosing to automate this to get experience way more than I need. And it's probably the least useful thing out of all of it. But like, it looks really cool, so it's totally worth it, right? Yeah, totally worth it. Well, I'm just about all out of resources, so I think these are all the changes I can make for the time being. But you know, I think it's looking pretty nice. It's definitely looking a lot better than it was before, I'll say that. I also added in a little area up there that's got some andesite bars that are supposed to kind of be like a railing that I eventually want to use for a bunch of tanks of experience and hyper experience, but I'm not there yet since I don't have the whole killing area set up over here just yet. But eventually I want to use it for that. I've pretty much killed all of the animals in the surrounding area, so there were not any cows nearby anywhere. Now I had to go way far over there, which was really annoying because it took like 2 in-game days to travel all the way over and then come back. The only good thing though is I got one specific block that I really needed, and that is this crimsite right here, and I got a whole lot of it. Don't get me wrong, I have absolutely no plans of using crimsite to just build stuff with because I don't really like how it looks. I don't really like the color, but if I look at the uses for it, if I dump it in some crushing wheels, it's got a 40% chance of giving crushed raw iron, and then another 40% chance of giving an iron nugget, which is kind of dwarfed by the crushed raw iron, but it's still something. So these stacks and stacks right here, I need to process before I move on to the next step because I'm going to need a whole bunch of item vaults for the next and final part of the build, and this right here should be able to give me at least a couple stacks of iron ingots. I don't know if this is going to work, but I think I can just dump it in here and it should be able to work. I don't really know. Although this entire system slowed way down because of the water wheel nerf, and the water wheels that are out there running this thing, which are now going even slower than they initially were, I haven't updated those yet or sped them up. So this is going to be painfully slow. I feel like a creep who's like staring through someone's window. I'm like, is it working? Is it working? I can't see. It sounds like it's working. It's working. So I can just dump all of it in there and then just sit back as this thing takes like 2 hours to process. At least it has to be about like 10 stacks of crimsite, something like that. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit. Okay, I think those are the last item vaults I need. The system upstairs is still running and it's got a long ways to go. Like the entire hopper's still full, and then yeah, there's still a lot in here, but I was able to make about 54 item vaults, which should be the exact amount that, at least I'm not going to say that I want. I eventually want more, and it'll be able to go faster if I have more, but for now it should be suitable. And then I don't have to wait for that thing to run because it's is just so slow. Now it's time to make the very last part of this system that's at least going to generate us the regular experience. Then I'm gonna have to convert it to hyper experience, and I'll probably do that up there. But to make regular experience, I need to have something that places down a bunch of infested stone using deployers, and then it's going to break it and then make a bunch of silverfish and then kill those. The first thing I have to decide is where I want the silverfish to fall and be killed, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know what, right here is probably the best. I might regret that later because I need a lot of room in the back if I want to expand it more, but for now I'm going to roll with right here. And then I need to go up 10 blocks because I'm looking to drop the silverfish down 10 blocks, which should bring them to 1 health so that they can be punched to death. So this will be the chute right here that they fall down, and I'm gonna have to encase this entire thing in glass eventually. I'm just gonna wait to do that until later in case I change my mind on where I want them to fall. But then all the way around this, I'm gonna need belts that are pushing the silverfish into this area right here. If I run all of these belts at max speed, the silverfish can't really fight against them, but they could fight against encased fans. So that's why belts are better. And now with the recent updates, you can run belts at whatever RPM you want and they don't consume any stress capacity. So makes it really nice to just crank stuff up with a rotation speed controller, pump it right into one of the belts, and then they're running at max speed, and stuff really just shoots across a belt, including silverfish when they're running at 256. I think I want the silverfish to be broken out on this level right here. So if I just put down some blocks right up here, I'm actually going to use trapdoors and do pretty much the same block breaking setup I have over there, but over here again, I just need to be careful with which direction I move it in because I can't move it 1 block further back in this direction because it's pressed up against the wall right there. And if I need the block placed right here, then it's not going to have the deployer right here. The deployer should be up here then, I believe, facing down since it places it 2 blocks in front of it. So that should be all the deployers that I'm going to need. And then above that, I need chutes that are going to input into each deployer. And this is what's just going to drop all of the infested stone into them. And then above that, I need something that's going to hold the infested stone. And in this case, it's just going to be one massive item vault so that I can input it all into one space. And then it's just going to get dropped through all of these to fill up the deployers. And this is why I said 54 should be sufficient, because if I did my math right, it just basically needs to be some multiple of 9. So if we go like that and that, now I still have 9 left over. So in theory, I could add 1 additional layer over here, but then I would have to move the whole thing out 1 more and then it would look really weird down there. So I'm not going to do that. This should be enough. So the general idea of this is going to be just like the cobblestone generator down there, like I said, where the infested stone is going to go into this item vault up here. It's going to get distributed to all these different deployers down here, which are going to place it down right where these are right here. And then we're going to be moving the trapdoors left and right and left and right, and it's going to break all the infested stone really quickly and spawn silverfish, which are going to land on the belts down here, get carried to this central point right here, and fall all the way down so that they're 1 health. Now that means that I have to get a lot of rotational power hooked up right here. Thankfully, the direction doesn't really matter for any of these, but I got to get rotational power to these, and I got to get all the infested stone coming up into this item vault here from somewhere down there. Oh yeah, and I need to make the moving contraption here to move this left and right, which is just going to be a basic version of what's down there. So I'm going to quickly do that then. Oh my god, I have no idea where I left my toolbox. I'm trying to hit the key right now to access nearby toolboxes, which is only within like 10 blocks, and it's not opening, and it's not in my inventory, and there was a creeper explosion over here at one point, and I'm really nervous that it destroyed it. Oh my god, wait, it's somewhere around here. I don't know where it is, but it's oh my gosh, it's right there. The day is saved. I was about to have a mental breakdown. No, this is so frustrating. It's 1 block off working perfectly. The simple answer would just be to use another encased fan here to pull things up and extend this belt over, but I was really hoping to not do that. But it's kind of looking like that's the only actual option I have, unless things want to get really messy in here. Well, that's certainly interesting and annoying. Well, that's certainly interesting. I can't even pick it up. There's a block right here. They should be pick upable at some point. That polished andesite's just done for. It's dead to me. Well, I think everything's at least working, so it's probably time to give this thing a try. I don't see any way this doesn't go horribly wrong because I'm about to just release a bunch of silverfish in here, but I mean, maybe it works, right? So assuming I even hooked everything up correctly to get the blocks up there, if I change this and I just invert the signal and this starts, it should get infested stone up there, and that's a big if I connected everything correctly. Okay, the first part is still working. I'd be concerned if something over here broke because I haven't messed with anything over here, but it's still a good sign. The cobblestone is generating. It's making it to the bulk smelter. Now, this is the moment of truth because the blocks are going up, which means, in theory, the next thing that I should eventually see are some silverfish down here, assuming I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so they're not falling down, which is concerning. I don't know why they're not able to fall down. Oh, I need to turn this off. Oh, no. Oh, no, wait. There's going to be so many blocks up there. Oh, this is so bad. Okay, well, it kind of worked, so that's good, but oh, no, this is so bad. It's so bad. I think I might need to push them into a corner. It's what was happening with that block up there. Oh, the sound. I have to get up there and stop this. Oh, please stop. Please stop. Oh, what have I done? I'm gonna be honest, guys. I don't really even know what to do here. I probably should have tried it out with like 5 or 6 blocks first. But there's gotta be stacks and stacks of it. So it works. These just need to be pushed into a corner, probably. Oh, wait, I could pour lava in here, right? That would work, because I can't hit them from here. But if I pour lava in there, that'll kill them all. Oh, wait, it'll pour straight down. I gotta pour lava, like, somewhere it'll go everywhere. Yeah, that's what I gotta do. Oh, I went far enough away and they all despawned? Okay, unless they're just hiding everywhere in the base right now and I can't see them. Nah, I know that they can't infest most blocks, so I guess they just despawned. But I just want it to be known that the lava would have worked probably, and I feel like that is a win. Like, I feel like I deserve credit for coming up with that on the spot because I was kind of freaking out there. So maybe this will work. I need to try and only let this run a little bit so that whole situation doesn't happen again. But I'm thinking maybe if it's pushing into a corner, then this will work instead of multiple belts pushing into other belts. So I got to give this a go. So I'll just connect this for like 2 seconds, maybe twice. Okay, it looks like that worked better. There's just a bunch of other broken stuff like infested stone on the back there and stuff that got connected up here. And I'll have to make the channel down there work. But it looks like the blocks make their way up here, they get placed, they get broken, assuming I fixed that little issue in the back there, and then they do make their way down there. I just gotta clean it up a lot, and I need to make it look nice, because you got, you know, this over here, and it's like, wow, it's so pretty, and then now that looks way better. I tried to kind of tie it in with the exact same design that I had over there, and it took a little bit to get everything sorted out, and I'll admit it bothers me that because they need to fall down a chute here, but it has to be at the corner, it's a little bit misaligned between the item vaults up there and that whole setup, and then this area, but I'm just gonna move past it. The only thing that's bothering me really badly is over here. I don't have anything designed, and there's not a ton of room to do a lot of stuff if I plan on having a train come in here, so I'm not totally sure, but this is kind of out of the way. So for now, I'm just gonna leave it like that, and then once I come and try and set up the train or figure out if I'm gonna do something different over here, then I'll worry about that. All I have for now is a door that lets me get into the back here, and then I put in an extra ladder right over here so I can go up to the top. But the best part about this whole thing is the system actually works now, and I feel like that's something I say and then I connect it and it totally doesn't work, so I'm really hoping that doesn't happen here, but it should work now when I connect it. Yep, so it's going nice up here. I did increase the speed, and I think I can increase it even further, but for now, that should be good. And that noise is so annoying, but you can see down here, they are falling and they're taking damage, and then they're being punched to death by the mechanical arms there. Now, I'm gonna have to fine tune the rate, and I might need another mechanical arm. I might need to speed up the mechanical arms, but this right here allows for them to automatically be killed and give me experience. I really got to turn this off though. I can't even hear myself think. That is so loud. Or can I turn silverfish off in here? Oh my god. Oh my god, it's the best mod ever. It's hilarious that I could just hear the the fall damage sound. So they're not getting killed right now by the mechanical arms though, most likely, because the mechanical arms can only hold so much, and you can see they're holding the nuggets of experience right now, so I need to take those out. Yeah, so you can see right here, this one's already holding 64 nuggets of experience. I think these other ones, yep, that one's holding them too, so they're not going to be able to kill them until I take out the nuggets of experience, and I need to drain them using a disenchanter to turn them into liquid experience, and then put that into some fluid tanks. Can I turn off fall damage sound too? No, you can't turn off the fall damage sound. Okay, I need to stop these then. I can't listen to that while I'm trying to work, and I almost certainly need to speed them up. But I think I'm gonna have the experience tanks over here just because it's kind of open. There's not a ton going on. I was gonna do it up there, but I think it's fine over here. And I'm probably just gonna do one big one, maybe like right here as a 3x3 for the regular experience, and then one somewhere over here for the hyper experience. I know people say size doesn't matter, but in this case, I kind of feel like it does because this is a little bit underwhelming for the two tanks. So eventually I'm gonna have to make more, but it's gonna need a lot to get it up to a size that I think will be suitable for holding all this experience. So for now, it's okay to get everything piped together. Yeah, I'm just gonna disconnect this so I don't have to listen to that anymore. Now, the real question is if things coming from the chute are able to go right onto the disenchanter. So if I put this down there, can they go right on it? It doesn't seem like they can. I think I need a hopper to go to each disenchanter, since it kind of has to like push the items across it. So if the disenchanter goes here and then the hopper goes here, and then I put a nugget on that, that should work. What, seriously? That doesn't work either? What? It's like it's on the thing. Surely if I do some sort of belt system down here, that'll work. I've done that before. That has to work. I'm amazed the hoppers failed me. I figured that would work because it works with item drains using a hopper, but at least this should work. This will probably look cooler anyway, so it's fine. Well, that's one chute connected. It's a little cramped down here, though. Thankfully, this one can just drop straight down, and I'm one chute short. That's great. Thankfully, my iron should be processed. Yup, there it is. So that's a little bit over 4 stacks. That's awesome. That is plenty for making more chutes. This has got to be the least elegant way to get these belts spinning in the correct direction. You know, this would be a situation where if I had some encased chain drives... Oh, wait, does this work? Does this work right here? No. Okay, well, back to the other horrible way, which rotates it like a billion times to get it to work. I tried, guys. People always say that the Chads really use the encased chain drive. I've seen the meme, but it didn't work here. So now if these all get hooked up, it should be good to drain them. It just won't be going anywhere yet. Okay, so now this should work. If I turn the whole system back on, which I have to do to get the experience back in there, because I need an authentic representation of it. I can't just put it in manually. I need the deployers to pick the stuff up and then drop them. I think though that it should be working. Man, I really need some like wireless on-off switch for up here. I just need to put down like a clutch of some sort somewhere here that turns this whole thing on and off. Can I see from up here if it's working? They're not draining though. What? They're just being spit out all over the ground. They're so... And why is it only the middle one? The other ones are fist bumping. Okay, there's some going to the other ones, but the other ones are like fist bumping or something. And I feel like I need to point this out because I'm not just saying that as like a stupid joke, but there's an advancement called Pound It, bro. Haha. Where it's make 2 deployers fist bump. It's a hidden advancement. You get it when they fist bump at the same time. And I have a feeling that it might be making it so they're fist bumping and they're not punching what's in front of them. I might just have to get rid of one of these if I can't fix this. That is such an annoying noise. Regardless, these are going to be full. They're going to stop. Yeah, they're already full. So while I let this whole thing percolate for a bit and try to think of what to do about that, I need to get the experience over to this tank right here or this one, whichever one I want to be the regular experience tank, which maybe it should be this one. I think in this case, 1 pump should be enough because it only is moving. That should be less than 16 blocks that it has to move. And there we go. I'm definitely going to have to experiment with the deployers to see if there's a way to get around fist bumping or a better way to kill all these guys, since deployers give us experience nuggets 100% of the time, but things like crushing wheels don't give it 100% of the time, so I might eventually have to go with crushing wheels here, and it may still get more experience. I'm not totally sure, but either way, it's working. You can see the XP is just flowing in here, and I'll have to make sure that these are being drained fast enough. But for the most part, this whole setup is working. I mean, if I can just go AFK and let this whole thing run, I need a better way to kill them because there's way too many in there, but I could just sit here and do nothing and then eventually come back and all this liquid experience can just be showered onto me out of a pipe or something and get me regular levels. There's a lot of efficiency tweaks that can be made, and the same probably goes for a lot of stuff in this setup. This is way better than I thought it would be at this point, so yep, that's looking good. And that is a whole lot of experience. So I've obviously made a whole ton of improvements to this entire area, both with increasing the killing area and increasing the speed of the block placing at the top, and just, you know, making it look a whole lot nicer. And this is what I'm left with. I'm pretty sure this is as efficient as I can get it at the moment until they update the enchantment industry mod so that sweeping edge swords work. And then when that happens, this thing's gonna go even faster. But for now, this is the current rate of experience that I'm getting, which probably doesn't seem like much, but in a little bit you'll see as I start using it to get myself levels that this is a pretty crazy rate. And now that I got a ton of experience coming in, there's only two things left for me to do. First off, I need to hyper enchant my gear, and then I need to get to a really stupid level for pretty much no reason. For hyper enchanting my gear, I'm obviously going to need hyper experience, and I'm going to need to mix that in a basin using experience, lapis, and glow ink. So I'm thinking I'll just put the basin and mixer right here and just pull from this into here and then out into here. I think I should be able to use a smart pipe to pull out of here, so I don't need to worry about pulling out regular experience when there's no hyper experience, and then just put a mechanical pump after that and then push it right into here. That way, eventually I should be able to set the filter here to hyper experience, since I believe there's a bottle of hyper experience that I can somehow make. Yeah, so if I make this and then just toss it into this filter, it's supposed to accept any container that has a fluid in it and filter that fluid. So I'm hoping that works. Yeah, this is definitely the best way to get rotational power over. It's a good thing I'm covering this up because this is just absolutely disgusting. I'm gonna try and forget that I did this down here, but that is so bad. It's just so bad. You know what they say, out of sight, out of mind. Now I just have to connect all this stuff over here, which should be pretty easy. I need to figure out the best way to get a bottle of hyper experience, but I'm assuming I can't just like glass bottle. Oh, maybe I can because it works with regular experience. So maybe I can just glass bottle it out of here. Either way, I still need hyper experience first, so I gotta bulk haunt me some ink. There we go. Now just toss it all in there together and it should be good to go. Oh my gosh, does this need to be heated to make it? Oh, it needs to be super heated. Okay, yep, that's fun. I've done this stuff before, so I feel like that's something I should probably have remembered. I mean, this is just peak efficiency right here. I don't see any other way that I could possibly be getting cinder flower other than just sitting at this setup doing this. And now I just have to press these together, but I'm pretty sure it has to be done in a basin instead of on a depot, so that should be good. And now I should just be able to fill these up using a spout with some lava onto a depot, but I'm assuming, because why would I be able to, because I'm unlucky, that I'm not going to be able to manually input this lava in here. So let's just see. Yup, that's to be expected. I think that should work, but I'm pretty sure every bucket only gets me 3 of these. Yeah, I'm going to need more lava. Good thing I have large lava pool over here reserved for this exact situation. You know, the problem with doing big things like this is that I keep thinking to myself literally every step of the way, oh, I should make a farm for that. Oh, I should make a farm for that. But there's not enough time. So that's the second bucket. That should fill up all 9 of these then. And I can't imagine I'm going to need more than 9. Now I can tear this absolute monstrosity down. I just need to make sure that I'm ready to make a bunch of hyper experience all at once to maximize the blaze cake usage. If I superheat this and then I can't pull the hyper experience out of here using a bottle, I'm gonna be really annoyed. But I do want to disconnect this until then, because it's gonna be really awkward if there's liquid experience in here and hyper experience and it keeps trying to bottle out the regular experience. It's gonna start spitting experience everywhere, but if I just put this here, I think it stops. Yeah, okay, so this should be good now. How much do I need to make a bottle? I need 1,000 millibuckets to make a bottle? What? Well, that's just absurd. Guess I gotta reconnect this. This thing needs more more experience. While that's making hyper experience, the other thing that I have to do to get hyper enchanting ready is over here, I have collected a whole bunch of enchanted books. Some of these have come from villager trading, like mending, but then other ones I've just randomly enchanted over at my enchanting table. And the main reason is because I can now duplicate enchanted books. So if I have enough experience using the printer, I can just replicate these using regular books and then combine them. So I didn't need to go all the way for max level of everything to start, but I need to combine all of these with duplicates of them to get them all the way to max level. And then I can use those to hyper enchant using the hyper experience and get gear that's got one level over the max level of these enchants. So I got to duplicate these and then combine them in the anvil until I have max level of looting, fortune, unbreaking, all this good stuff. Well, that should be the last book, so now all of these should be the max level that you can get in vanilla Minecraft, and for everything that's not a non-level based enchant, so everything other than mending, it can all go up one more level. So it's really overpowered when you hyper enchant it. Time to see if I can bucket out, or bottle out, I guess I should say, this liquid hyper experience. I'm pretty sure it's going to give me liquid experience to start. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to make so many bottles to go through the experience. How am I supposed to, maybe I just pump the regular experience out, filtering with this first out over here. Yeah, that's probably the play, and then I can pull out the liquid hyper experience, hopefully with a bottle. Okay, regular experience comes out here, and only regular experience, please. So while I'm here, you guys can see just how much each millibucket of experience is, because I'm getting a lot of XP right now, and this was only 1,000 millibuckets. All right, it was actually a little bit less than 1,000 millibuckets, so imagine what the 201,000 that's over there is going to be. Wow, really? It's going to get stuck at 2? Okay, hopefully that doesn't mess anything up. So now I should be able to please let me, yes, it does that. And wait, it only took 10. That's crazy. If I would have wasted 1,000 millibuckets for this recipe, there's no way this recipe takes that much. This has to be incorrect because it says the same thing for this as well. And the bottle of enchanting only takes 10 millibuckets as well. So unless it's just really bad coding specific to the spout that makes it extremely inefficient, then that's great. So now I should be able to come in here and filter this. I just need to make sure this is reconnected first, because otherwise it's going to start pulling the hyper experience out, and I do not want to waste any hyper experience. So there we go. And now if I just put this here, it should start filling this with hyper experience. Oh yes, awesome. And then I think this gives me buffs. I'm just going to chuck this. It's not worth it. I think, does that give me? I thought it was supposed to give you buffs or something. What? Maybe I was supposed to drink it. I don't know. Now I just got to reconnect this over here and make a whole bunch more hyper experience. We'll just top that off, and then I'm gonna have to go get some more glow ink because I am definitely gonna run out before I hyper enchant even half my gear. Oh my god, there's actually glow squid down here. That's crazy. I should probably hyper enchant my sword with looting 4 and then come back and do this, because otherwise it's just gonna take so long. Just set the enchantment guide to looting 3, put it on the blaze burner. Now it says it's gonna need 220 millibuckets, but that would be the amount of regular experience for looting 3. The minute I connect it to hyper experience though, it's going to shoot up a little bit because then technically it's one level higher. No, it actually, I'm going to want to pull it directly from this and not from over here. So if I just get rid of that, connect another pump, and then make this a cogwheel down here, that should work. There we go. Now it's looting 4, and it's going to need 328 millibuckets, but it's completely full. So if I just click this on here, it should start hyper enchanting this, and I should be able to get a lot of glow ink a whole lot faster. There we go. A lot of advancements all at once, and this now has looting 4, and that's literally all it has. So this should be good now to go get a lot of ink sacks. And well, I think that's all the hyper experience mixing I can do for now. I used up all my blaze cakes, and unfortunately I did end up having a little bit left over that I wasn't able to mix, so that's about 610 hyper experience. So if I'm short 610 or less when I go to enchant this, but I still don't finish, then that's just on me. Otherwise I still need to go gather more, but I've got 2,000 millibuckets in here, I've got 3.4 thousand millibuckets in here, and then I've got my mending enchant set up over here. This uses regular experience, only 102 millibuckets, so that's going to be easy to get on everything. And then I just need to swap in over here all these different books, and some of them, like Unbreaking, are going to go on pretty pretty much everything. Other things like fortune, that's only going to go on my pickaxe. So I'm going to have to go through all these, but probably going to start with the biggest ones and see how far I get on enchanting literally every single piece of gear that I have. How do you hyper enchant the back tank? How does that work? Can I just throw it on here? How does this work? It's trying to place it down. How do you do this? Please tell me I can enchant that. There's no way that you can't hyper enchant that. That should be good for every enchant, you know, except my chest piece, because it just doesn't want to enchant because it doesn't want to let me hyper enchant it. That has to be a bug. I'm going to figure it out, but that is so unbelievably tilting. And now the only thing left to do is to make a repair station over here using the depot in case I want to specifically repair mending tools. I can just throw it down if I attach a spout up here, just like that, and then flip the rotation here so it's putting experience in. This should be able to just easily repair my tools that have mending, and it's just nice to have. It's not really necessary, but it's cool if I specifically want to fix one thing. And then I also want to make an experience shower. There we go. I think that works better. It looks a little bit weird, but the main purpose of this is so that I can turn this valve right here. And I never realized that this shows whether it's open or closed, but I can now turn this and just shower myself in experience. And I want to do this because you always see those videos that have the titles like, I got to level 1,000 in hardcore Minecraft. So that's what I'm doing here. There's absolutely no point behind it, but this is an extremely overpowered experience generator. I have so much experience in here. So all I'm going to do with this is make a better XP generator than all those other videos, because I can just go AFK and do whatever I want and get thousands of levels of experience. So I'm going to see how long I can mentally tolerate sitting under this thing, getting XP while this system runs, and see just how high I can get, because the diminishing returns get pretty crazy the higher level you get. So I'm curious. But if I turn this once, look, this is very slowly draining, but I'm getting a ton of experience. And the best part of this whole thing is if I just turn this back on and let it run, well, then this right here doesn't even go down in experience. I almost net experience. It basically stabilizes, at least, if not nets experience into the tank as I'm gaining levels. Now all I have to do is just sit here and do nothing. Wait, oh my God, is it finally done? Oh my God, after 3 days of sitting inside this little glass box, I have finally crossed over and well past level 1000. And it appears that the Enderman may have had a field day outside here. I genuinely don't know how a charge creeper got up there. Don't they have to get hit by lightning? He's inside. How does he get hit by lightning up there inside? Also, during those 3 days, while I was sitting doing absolutely nothing, I actually did a little bit of research, and I found out, unfortunately, there is no good way to enchant the netherite back tank at the moment. It's a little bit of a bug. So the way I'm going to get around that is by making a new netherite chest piece and then enchanting it and then converting it to a back tank. And there we go. Now I just have to make sure I get it fully enchanted with everything that I want before I upgrade it. So we'll do mending first, then protection, and then unbreaking. There we go. An enchanted netherite back tank. So now everything looks right in the world. Nice. You can't even tell who I am under this, and it's fully enchanted. But now that I've got the best enchanted gear that you can possibly get in Minecraft, and I'm level 1146, I think the next thing I need to worry about is the fact that I have literally no iron.